Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike the intern, Ned Reynolds. It's Monday, back to work. What a wild weekend. You want to start with the college football playoffs or the NFL?
Let's start with the NFL since that's a little bit more right to date. As such, new Super Bowl teams in both cases. Of course, we knew the Chiefs weren't going to be there. Philadelphia, out of it first round. Imagine that. Well, you saw your share of football over the weekend. What were your thoughts on what happened?
In the NFL side, I thought it was pretty damn exciting up until last night's game. I'm sitting there just looking at the Chargers going, I can't believe you flew across the country to kick a field goal. Patriots shut them down. The Bills-Jags game I thought was extremely exciting. Obviously, the Eagles game, like you mentioned, I was going to ask you, you think Sirianni still has a job after this season?
I got to thinking about that. Sirianni has been an unpopular figure in Philadelphia, even though he was a Super Bowl champion last year. Can a coach a year after the Super Bowl, he got into the playoffs, but his team just really did not play very well at all. Here's J.A. Brown, they're one of their top receivers, and he's dropping footballs. Come on, what is this? But be that as it may, I would be a little bit surprised if they let him go. Now, next year, that's another story, because I think they have a lot of work to do. The team just does not appear to be very cohesive to me. That's the impression that I got. And here's Jalen Hurts, who's an outstanding All-America in college at Oklahoma and Alabama, and a good All-Pro and a Super Bowl champion quarterback and the MVP of the Super Bowl, and he really struggled all season long. So I think the jury is out on what Philadelphia is going to do.
I don't think it's more comes down to the record, but, man, for outside looking in, you can get a vibe that he does not have that locker room, and I think I think you're probably right. They're not going to let him go. I mean, it'd be crazy if they did, but if they don't, they're definitely letting go. KP, that offensive coordinator, he gone. That's
he has to be gone.
Yeah,
There's
gone.
No game plan to that at all, and I was really. The final play, here Hurts going in there. They have a chance. They're well on the 20-yard line. This is going to be the last play of the game because it's fourth down. And the pass was over the middle into a crowd.
Crazy.
Now, come on. You've got to be able to have a different perspective, maybe one into the corner of the end zone or something like that. But be that as it may, I was very surprised at what they did. That's the one game. The Rams, watching the Rams play the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. This is bizarre. Carolina doesn't belong there. Number one, it should have been the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but we've talked about that's the way the tie break worked out. Carolina's there, big crowd and all that, and they are giving the Rams fits. They beat the Rams in Charlotte about, 3 weeks ago, somewhere around there. Well, Los Angeles was still a 10.5-point favorite. Rams were very lucky to get by. Okay, the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers, they played on Saturday night, and here is Chicago with historic comeback. 28 points in the second half to come from 18 points down to win over the Green Bay Packers, their hated rivals. And Chicago wins at 31-27. A good win for the Bears. I think the Bears are the real deal. They could get there. I don't think they're going to, but they could get there. But what actually stuck in my mind was the handshake at the end of the game, or rather the lack of handshake. Yeah. They went by, I think.
No love lost there.
Oh, heavens no. Those coaches, they kind of just brushed each other.
What about LaFleur? You think he's got a job after this season?
I don't think he's very popular in Green Bay.
Not after the way not after blowing leads like that. I just, it happens. I've been there. It's happened to the Chiefs. I understand it, but consistently like that, that's not a good look.
And LaFleur is not a real engaging figure in his conversation, so he's got a way to go. I don't know whether he'll be back or not, but we'll see. Buffalo Bills still hanging around. They beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. I was a little surprised. I thought the Jags would win it, but Buffalo comes up 27-24, so the Bills are still there. Then the game coming up tonight, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Houston Texans, and the winner of that one will go on to play next week, and they're probably going to be playing up in New England. New England will host whoever wins that game. Well, I think the Houston Texans will. I think their defense is a little bit better, but again, on another field, and they are playing in Pittsburgh, and it's going to be cold and all that sort of thing. Well, you just don't know exactly what's going to happen. Nobody does. Even the pollsters don't even know what's going to happen. But I think it'll probably be a very entertaining game. Anyway, the field is narrowing. We're down to the quarterfinals next weekend, the semifinals, and then the Super Bowl itself. This is on February 1st.
Gonna have to be
February 8th.
Gonna have to be a Bills fan this weekend. That is for sure against the Broncos in Denver.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah,
Buffalo and Denver, but Denver, Denver's funny. They're capable of losing at home. There's
Very
some teams like Seattle. I think Seattle is probably unbeatable at home, but we'll find out.
Yeah, like I said, if it comes down to Bears Seahawks, man, that's going to be a hell of a game. I think the AFC Championship really is going to be decided in Denver this weekend between the Bills and the Broncos, because whatever happens in the Texans Pat's game, I don't know if those guys have it, but it's we'll see. It's the AFC, man. But one thing I did want to bring up, we talked about LaFleur, we talked about Sirianni, and also got to bring up McDaniel, right? They're all those kind of wonderkin, mid to early 40, really big offensive mind, whatever. You notice the one thing they all have in common? They can't keep a locker room. They're not, as they say, coaches of men, right? You can see it in all of these guys, like the guys like Andy Reid. Like Vrabel.
Vrabel is, but Vrabel is also a former player.
You see the difference though, and those guys, it's not just about having the offensive mind. It's about having that locker room and the discipline. And you can see the teams that have got it, and you can see the teams that don't. And when they don't,
I agree.
More to that point, last year, it's incredible how I would now, after watching the Eagles this year, how incredibly talented Barkley was last year and how much they leaned on him to get them out of bad situations, and they did. Just like with the Chiefs and Mahomes. When it doesn't work, everything's exposed.
But keep in mind that Saquon Barkley had a different offensive coordinator last year.
Hugely.
That made a big difference.
Big difference, Ned. Well, either way, as a guy who has no dog in this fight, I had a great time watching football this weekend, Ned. There were actually other sports played this weekend other than football and college football. There was some basketball, but let's talk about that Tournament of Champions.
That begins on Thursday this week, and this is always a big winter holiday here in the Ozarks because it's 3 days of arguably the top high school basketball in America. It's the 41st annual Tournament of Champions, and I don't think there's any argument about the fact that it is maybe number one, but there are not many, but there's several others who could vie for that title. But the number one high school basketball tournament in the country. It's a really big one this year. The number one team in the nation, Virginia-based Paul VI. They're really in the Fairfax area, but they are going to play Logan Rogersville on Thursday night. And then Springfield Kickapoo plays Principia. Now, some of the fans in here may not be familiar with Principia. They are Missouri, the St. Louis Baseball Club. They are the reigning Class 3 champions, but they are also the number 2 national team. They're very, very, very good, and they're going to play Kickapoo. Other teams are St. John Bosco from Bellflower, California, also a national contender. Bartlett High School from the Memphis area, they're really good. The Wheeler team, which is from Cobb County, Georgia, that's a little bit northwest of Atlanta, also another perennial power. And Calvary Christian, that's from Clearwater, Florida, they're coming up here. All these teams, this may be the best field ever for the Tournament of Champions, and it'll be a big time. They all start on Thursday night.
And a lot of fun, like you said, and a lot of really good competition between all these young players. We did have some local college basketball action this weekend, didn't we?
We did indeed. The Missouri State Bears, both teams played. The Lady Bears played on Thursday night and got a win. The Bears played on Saturday, beat Florida International in the second game. The Lady Bears played the first game and knocked off Jacksonville State after having beaten Kennesaw State on Thursday night. So the Lady Bears and Bears came away with all wins this week. The Drury team had their Hall of Fame weekend, and in town was Lincoln from Jefferson City, and Lincoln is in the conference with Drury, and the Drury teams won both those games. The men barely got by, but the ladies won in overwhelming fashion. Missouri played Mississippi down in Oxford, Mississippi, and Ole Miss held on to win that game. 76-68 over the Missouri Tigers. It's a tough loss for Mizzou. Arkansas got walloped by Auburn down in Alabama, so we didn't have a good one as far as the area college teams are concerned. Now, this is going to be a lot of fun coming up, and indeed looking forward to it. Big college games. Both teams, both the Lady Bears and Bears, are on the road for this week, and so are the Drury teams.
Go your favorite college basketball team. It's crazy to think here in the middle of January we got to start thinking about baseball, but on Friday, Cardinals Nation, you better show up. The caravan's in town.
They are indeed, and they will be here Friday. It's all in conjunction with the Tournament of Champions. Of course, that's done because the Tournament of Champions is there, so the Cardinals say, hey, we'll just go down there for that. And on Friday, I should say, at 12 noon, the public is invited to the Bill Rowe Training Center to meet with the Cardinals. That's at 12 noon, and there's food, of course, and it's free. And at 12 noon, Bill Rowe Training Center is where the teams take their batting practice at Hammons Field, and it should be fun. We'll have Victor Scott here, and J.J. Weatherhold, and Jose Fermin. Leonardo Bernal, who was he was the catcher, I should say, for the Springfield Cardinals this year. He'll be included in that group. He's good, and he stands a great chance of going to Memphis, and who knows, maybe with the St. Louis Cardinals. And then after all that, they do appear at the Tournament of Champions on Friday night, on the second night. But the Cardinals are here. Again, the public is invited to the rally at 12 noon. That's when it all begins at the Bill Rowe Training Center, and that is on Friday when the Cardinals caravan is here.
Ned, have a wonderful Monday, and I'll see you on Tuesday.